Hello.
Hello.
That's
Please stand by. Good day, everyone. Welcome to today's special UFC conference. Today's call will be recorded. At this time, I'll turn things over to Mr. Ryan Grabb. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, operator. I'd like to thank all the media for taking the time out of the day to jump on this call with very little notice. And at this time, I'll turn it right over to Dana White.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to call in this morning on such short notice. So this is probably one of my all-time lows as being president of the UFC over the last 11 years. For the first time in 11 years, we're going to cancel an event. This Saturday's fight at Mandalay Bay is being canceled. Dan Henderson has a partial tear in his MCL and couldn't continue. He tried to train. He tried to continue to work out. He saw doctors, and there was nothing we could do to save that fight. So one of the things that you guys have heard me brag about a million times is how UFC doesn't have to cancel events. We can, we can always find a replacement. For somebody to fight John Jones on 8 days' notice is tough to do. But to be totally honest with you guys, one guy did. Not only when I called him did he say, I'll take the fight. He said, I'll fly to Las Vegas tonight and fight him. And that was Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen accepted the fight with John Jones, wanted the fight bad. So as of, 8, 9 o'clock last night, we had a fight. We here at the UFC started working, started, creating different commercials. PR started getting ready to crank up. I was going to do this call, and this was obviously going to be a much different call this morning. But the one thing that I never thought in a million years would happen happened. John Jones said, I'm not fighting Chael Sonnen with 8 days' notice. Again, something that's never happened in UFC history. A guy who's a world champion and considered one of the pound-for-pound best turns down a fight. So that has never happened either. So right now what's happening is this fight is canceled, and we're moving. It'll be John Jones versus Lyoto Machida Saturday, September 22nd on the Toronto, Canada card at UFC 152. Does anybody have a question?
And at this time, if you do have a question, please press star 1 on your touch-tone telephone. Again, for questions, that's star 1. We'll pause for just a moment. Again, everyone, that is star 1. We'll go to Ben Folkes with USA Today.
Hi. Yeah. Question for Dana. When you say that John Jones did not want to fight on short notice with Chael Sonnen, did he understand that if he did not take that fight, the event would be canceled? I mean, were all the options laid out there for him?
You know me. Believe me, I haven't slept at all last night. I've been up all night, and yeah, he's been hit with some options. Yeah, he knows what the consequences were and what would happen.
And I mean, as far as like the timeline of trying to get together potential replacements, I mean, did you talk to Machida about trying to do this short notice? Was his deal that he would do it, but only on a longer time frame, or what?
Well, no. Here's the thing: when it was going down and we were trying to make the fight, Machida was actually in the air. then landed somewhere for a connector flight to Brazil. He was already gone. He was already in the air. I can accept that. I can accept why Machida didn't take the fight. Completely different circumstances, completely different story.
Well, as far as John turning down the Chael Sonnen option, I mean, was it clear in your guys' negotiations and everything that that Machida was going to be the go-to one if he wouldn't take the Chael fight? Did he know that? Because he never sounded excited about the rematch with Machida. Did he know that if he said no to Chael, it would definitely be Machida?
Yeah. How about this? How about he sits down? He called when he and I talk. He says, "I got to sit down and talk to my coaches." His coach Greg Jackson says, "There's no way you take this fight. This fight. You don't take this fight on 8 days' notice. It would be the biggest mistake of your entire career." Wow. Chael Sonnen's a 185-pounder who wants to move up to 205. Who hasn't trained a day for this fight, and the fight's in 8 days, yet he says he'll fly here tonight to fight the supposed pound-for-pound third best fighter in the world, and the list goes on, the world champion, and you have so much, I mean, how much faith do you have in your champion and your guy? Now, I literally just bumped into Greg Jackson the other day, and I was kind of joking around about some of the things I said. I'll tell you what, I'll go on the record saying, this guy is a fucking sport killer, okay? This guy, I mean, this guy's from another planet. I've never even seen anything like it in my life.
All right, well, I'll let somebody else get in then. Thanks.
Yeah.
We'll hear next from Ariel Helwani with MMAfighting.com.
Hey, Dana, just wondering, how long is Dan Henderson going to be out for?
I don't know. He's got a partial tear in his MCL. So the thing is, obviously Dan would like a little more time to try to take this fight, but we can't be in the same position. We can't be sitting around worried about if Dan can be ready for the 22nd. And he said the same thing. So, we'll see what happens. It's not like Dan has to go in and he needs surgery or anything like that. But he's got a tear in his MCL, and he has problems with lateral movement and in some other positions. So he couldn't do the fight.
Did you consider saving the fight and having John just fight in November or December, or is there a specific reason why you wanted him to fight right away?
Because John Jones is in shape and he's ready to go. Machida's the next in line. Dan's hurt, so that's the fight that's going to happen.
And did John say, okay, I won't fight Chael, but if you get me this guy or that guy, was there any sort of negotiation on that front for next week's fight?
No. It's in John Jones' head that he didn't prepare for this guy, and I don't know, man. I don't know. In the history of the UFC, I mean, Tito's been the most difficult guy in the history of the company since I've been here, and Tito Ortiz did not take fights.
And just two last quick things. How do you think this affects John Jones' image right now? Because he's taken a lot of heat over the last 10 days or so for what he said about Machida. How do you think people will respond to him?
I don't know. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's great. The first fight ever canceled in UFC history since we've owned the company, and the first champion to ever turn down a match.
Okay, and last thing, does 152, this is sort of a logistical thing, but does 152 now become 151?
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't think about that, but yeah. You're good at math, Ariel.
Oh, thanks. So you have to change all the marketing for that, or will you do that, or will 151 just be like the lost event?
No, it would be 151. It'd be UFC 151. Okay. I know I started the call calling it 152, but you're right. Such a detail guy.
Well, I look out for you on that stuff. Thanks,
Thank you, buddy.
Sorry to hear it. Bye.
Thanks.
We'll go next to John Morgan with MMAJunkie.com.
Yeah, thanks for the time. Dana, did John specifically say he wasn't taking the fight because of that advice from Greg Jackson, or was that just one of the factors in his choice?
That is exactly why he didn't take the fight.
And I guess, he's talked a lot about being a smart businessman and making business-savvy decisions versus just being a fighter. What's your take on that, especially with this, revelation? Is there a problem with him not really being a fighter and not having the heart of a champion, so to speak, to take on all comers and making decisions based on business?
Yeah. Let me tell you what. I always laugh when I hear fighters saying, I'm a businessman. No, you're not. You're a fighter. And, you see moves like this and other things that if they were real businessmen, we wouldn't be having this conference call right now.
And a question about Dan, obviously he's going to take some time to recover, but does he retain a number one contender status when he comes back? Does he fight for the title?
I don't know. You know how that always works. Look at Rashad. Rashad was supposed to come back, and if you don't get that shot right when it's there and available, all kinds of crazy things can happen. Or maybe it will be available right when he comes back. Who knows? I can't answer that question.
Fair enough. And I guess last thing, Danny, can you just talk about the decision to cancel the event? I mean, obviously that's not an easy decision. You lose the main event, but did you consider alternatives? Just kind of running with what was left on the card, moving it to free TV, anything? Why ultimately arrive at the decision to just scrap the whole thing?
Because it's I'm what are we 8-7? I don't know how many days away we are to the fight, and I literally this thing went right down to the wire right before I got on this call. You know what I mean? We don't have time we're strapped for time. If I'd have known, if Dan Henderson would have got hurt 2 weeks ago, it would have been a different story. But 8 days, John Jones and John Jones acting like this and all this other bullshit, I can't do it.
All right. Thanks for the time, Dan.
Thank you.
Moving next to Todd Grisham with ESPN.
Hey, Dana, John Jones is sponsored by UFC. Will this decision affect the way that you attach your brand to him going forward?
That's a good question. I was never crazy about it in the first place. Believe me, I'm the wrong guy to ask about UFC sponsorship and shit. I'm the wrong guy to ask because I hate it.
And it seemed like kind of out of the blue, Chael was kind of baiting John Jones a few weeks ago. Was there an inkling maybe that Dan might not be able to perform, and maybe somebody kind of tipped Chael off, hey, there's a slight chance you could be in this fight, maybe start burning some press up about it?
Not at all. Not even a little bit. Because even when I called Chael, I had to track him down. I guess his girlfriend's husband had a stroke, his girlfriend's father had a stroke, and he was wherever that guy lives. Fighting John Jones was the last thing on his mind. It blew him away when I called him.
All right, thanks, Dana.
Thank you.
We'll hear now from Damon Martin with MMAweekly.com.
Dana, first question is, you mentioned John moving to 152 or the Toronto card. What about the other fights on the card, Jake Ellenberger, Jay Huron? What's the plan with those guys?
We'll figure it out.
Are the fights going to stay the same and just get shifted to other cards, or will they just?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the fallout is going to be from this thing for the undercard, but we'll figure it out.
And you mentioned, obviously, the difficulties you've had in the past dealing with Tito, and you mentioned even with Anderson Silva, but how you still love dealing with him. I know it's the heat of the moment, but how much does this situation possibly change your relationship with John Jones?
A lot.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Moving next to Dave Meltzer with Wrestling Observer.
Dana, one thing as far as Dan went, I mean, was this a thing where he was hurt like a few days ago and he was trying to gut it through and just couldn't, or is it just something that came up in the last day or two?
Yeah, well, I went to the Strikeforce fight on Saturday, talked to him, and everything was cool, and then he started trying to get in touch with me on Sunday. He didn't have my new number. He had my old number, and we didn't get in touch till Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember, but, yeah, he was trying to work through it, tape it, do all kinds of different things. As soon as I heard about it, we flew him to Vegas. He saw Doc Sanders, and Sanders told us he's got a partial tear in his MCL. I mean, can he fight with it? I mean, I guess if he really wanted to go out there, but he wouldn't be 100%. He'd have limited lateral movement. He couldn't. There were certain things. I guess even in the top position in wrestling, his knee hurt him really bad.
Okay, wow. And as far as like I mean, obviously the ramifications are gigantic of canceling a show. I mean, is there anything that you can kind of detail? I mean, as far as like whether it's with the pay-per-views and with the venue and everything like this to do something on, whatever it is, 9 days, I guess, notice.
I'm sorry, say that again, Dave?
I mean, what type of ramifications are there, as far as like canceling a show between the pay-per-views and everything, all the advertising? I mean, this is a big hit in some ways, right?
It's a major deal. We lose shitloads of money that's already been spent. Money. I mean, we're 8 days out.
Yeah.
We've spent shitloads of money on this fight. People. And how far and I mean, I sit here and we've been talking about it all morning. How far this goes and how bad it hurts. But I don't really know because it's the first time we've ever done it. So I don't know what I don't know yet.
And as far as the fans go, I mean, were those tickets, would they be able to use them, say, for the next numbered show in Vegas, or is it a refund situation? Or
they'll get refunded. It's just like if you were going to a boxing match or a concert or something and the thing got canceled, you call Ticketmaster and they refund your money and everything else. Cancel your flights, and hopefully your flights are refundable and you can get them, if you can switch them to Toronto or another fight if you want to.
Now, as far as like, you said like the decisions basically, I mean, like a last minute thing. I mean, like when did you, like, it was like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours ago, when did you just have to pull the plug on this one? When you just realized you couldn't get Jones to do the fight?
An hour ago.
An hour ago. And was it just an outright refusal to fight anyone on that day, or was it just?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Moving on to Dave Dybert with Post Media News.
Hey, thanks for the time, Dana. If there had been a more bankable, perhaps that's the right word or not, but a more bankable co-main event, would you have still considered going ahead with the card?
I don't know, man. I just think when we're selling the John Jones title fight, and this card it had to be canceled. Where we're at right now, thing had to be canceled.
Okay, and I guess sort of along those same lines, you have heard a lot of criticism recent months about injuries have played a part, but too many cards, guys getting injured, cards getting stretched too thin. Is this? What would you say, I guess, to anyone who say that this is an example of what can happen when you have, a one-fight card that is really the big and only attraction on it to pay-per-view buyers? How would you respond to any criticism along that sense?
I mean, we've never, ever had a fighter refuse to fight somebody, especially a guy not only who's a world champion, but who is supposed by many to be one of the top pound-for-pound guys in the world. Absolutely flat-out refused to fight a guy. Never happened, We're in a business where I say it to you guys all the time. Every day when I get out of bed, crazy shit happens that I got to deal with, and here's a new crazy one for us, I love there's this whole negative swell right now about these guys are doing too many, they're doing too much this, they're doing too much this. We built this fucking business. We built this industry. We know exactly what we're doing and what's going on. We know what we're doing next week, next month, everything else. There's going to be things that pop up like injuries and apparently now guys who don't want to fight anybody. But it has nothing to do with the way the business is being run and what we're doing right now. Everybody always has their opinions. Shit, you should have saw the stories you guys were writing 7-8 years ago and what the people on the internet thought 7-8 years ago and how this wasn't going to happen and we were doing too much of this and not enough of that. I can tell you right now, I spent the entire morning and afternoon yesterday at Fox and then the rest of the day over here dealing with this bullshit. And we got big things going on. It has nothing to do with, there are too many cards and our cards stretched too thin.
All right. Last one for you. Just when it comes to, I guess, the new 151 billing, I think safe to assume, but does Jones Machida, does that get promoted over Benavidez Johnson as the new main?
Yeah, we always do. The heaviest guys are always the top billing.
Okay. Thanks, Dana.
Yep.
Moving on to Claudine Grant with Fox.
Hey, Dana, it's Claudine. So the relationship with John Jones now, since he's kind of put you in such a pickle, how are you going to promote him from here on out, or how is this really going to affect your relationship and future fights for him?
John Jones has been one of these guys who, as much as he's won in all the things that he's accomplished in a short amount of time. Like he burst onto the scene a year and a half ago. He's ripped through the top guys. He's been a champion that hasn't been very popular, and I don't think that this is going to do wonders for his popularity. As far as the relationship with us, me and Lorenzo are both disgusted.
It's understandable. What about Chael?
Chael's a lunatic, Chael, I called Chael, and Chael said I'll fly to Las Vegas tonight and fight him at Mandalay Bay or any other casino you would like me to fight him at.
And so you had no problem with that. You were going to put him in, done deal.
Yeah, I think, did I think that the Chael Sonnen fight made sense as far as, the title and everything else? No, but you know what? These guys have been talking smack back and forth to each other, and I thought it was a fight that people would be interested in, and Chael was the guy who accepted it. So I said, yeah, I'll make this fight. And Chael was pumped. Chael was excited for this fight. Chael told me that he's a mental midget, and he'll beat him mentally first. And he also told me, Chael said, tell John Jones there won't be any spinning back fists in this fight. Chael Sonnen only falls down once.
Do you think John Jones thought that he was going to lose this fight, and that's why he won't take it with anyone else? He's too scared to lose his belt?
I don't know. I don't know why a guy who is a world champion and considered by many one of the pound-for-pound best wouldn't fight anybody. I don't know the answer to that. It's baffling to me. I've never seen it before, and I don't know.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Moving next to Matt Erickson with MMAJunkie.com.
Hey, Dana. Hope you're doing well, all things considered. You recently said that Chael would not probably get a title shot even if he beats Forrest in December. Obviously, things changed in the last 24 hours, but
and what I also said is Chael will not talk his way to the title. But the thing about Chael Sonnen is, this is the type of guy that, when things are normal and things are, going the way they should go and guys aren't injured and guys are fighting, Chael Sonnen would have had to beat 3 nasty guys, at least to get to John Jones. But when in the heat of the moment when things are going down, this is the guy that you pick up the phone and call, and he will fight anybody. This isn't a guy that just talks and shoots his mouth off. A guy that other guys won't fight on short notice. Chael Sonnen says, I'll fight him tonight. It's just he's that kind of a person. He puts his money where his mouth is. He talks the craziest shit I've ever seen talked in the history of this sport, yet he goes out and delivers. He's willing to step up and fight, and I really respect that about the guy.
Well, obviously you got some backlash from John Jones by bringing that up. Were you concerned at all about backlash from fans or anything like that? If Jones would have accepted that fight with Chael?
No, listen. There's going to be people that want to see it and people that don't. I mean, that's the situation. When we put together a fight, not everybody on the planet's going, yeah, it's the greatest fight ever. We got to see it. Some people are going to want to see it, and some people won't. I don't think that everybody wouldn't have wanted to see that Chael Sonnen fight. And I think that by Friday, Chael Sonnen would have convinced most of us that he was going to win.
Are you able to quantify it all? I know you said a lot, but are you able to quantify, kind of millions of dollars, how much this might have cost you guys?
It's huge. The prelims were to air on FX. All the marketing that's been spent, and we don't play, man. We spend some money. We're out there. I mean, we got billboards in Times Square in New York and all over the country. The media, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen all the television ads that have been running, and the list goes on and on. It's a massive, massive hit.
And then one last quick one. With Jones Machida now moving to Toronto, you guys were promoting, obviously, the first flyweight title fight as a main event on that show. Now I'm assuming it's going to be the co-main event. Was there any consideration given at all to moving that to a different card so that it can headline again?
No.
Okay. All right. Thanks much, Dana.
Thanks.
We'll go now to Brett Okamoto with ESPN.
Hey, Dana, I apologize if this is a question that I should know the answer to, but I guess this is kind of an unprecedented situation. Do you guys not have something in the contract, especially with champions, that say, okay, you can have your say, you can say, if you don't want to take this fight on short notice or whatever, but at the end of the day, the UFC has the ultimate ruling on it, and if we tell you that you're going to fight Chael Sonnen on September 1st, then you have to do it?
No, being a fight promoter and being in the business that we're in, you can't make somebody fight. I can't make you fight. I can't say, you're absolutely going to fight this Saturday and you have to do it. I can't do that. You're either a fighter or you're not. You understand? This is what we all do for a living. I have a building here in Las Vegas on this block that 250 people have been busting their ass, working hard to promote this fight. And not just for John Jones, but for everybody that was on the card. There's a whole list of guys. You know what? Good for you, John Jones. You're rich and you got some money. You don't need to take this fight. But there's a bunch of guys on the undercard that this is how they feed their family. And this is how they make a living. And the UFC has spent shitloads of money to promote this fight. And because you don't feel like it, or whatever your reason is that you don't fight, I can't make you fight, but it's probably not a good idea to not do it.
Okay, thanks for that. And then real quickly, I don't think it's been brought up yet. When Dan Henderson is healthy, I'm assuming he will get a title shot when he returns?
I don't know. Somebody asked that earlier. Look at what happened to Rashad when Rashad was hurt. All the stuff that went down, he didn't get a shot at the title for a year and a half. So okay. Who knows?
Okay, sorry, I must have missed that part. Thank you, Dana.
That's all right. No, thanks, bud.
We'll take a follow-up from Ariel Helwani with MMAfighting.com.
Hey, Dana, just a few follow-ups. What did John Jones have to say about fighting Machida? Since he is able to turn down fights here, he didn't want to fight Machida a week ago, so how did you convince him to take that fight?
I can tell you this right now, he ain't turning down the Machida fight. If I get a call today that says he doesn't want to fight Machida, we'll have another conference call later this afternoon.
About what?
I'll have another media call, and it won't be good.
Would you consider,
listen,
yeah.
Ariel, come on.
Okay.
Come on. Quit asking me stupid questions.
But the thing is, does he even know he's fighting Machida yet, or is he finding out?
Yes, he does.
Here?
Yeah, we should have the bout agreement back right now.
Okay. And did you try to, did he ask for maybe more money to fight Chael Sonnen? Did you go through that whole process, or was it just...
He did not ask me for more money.
Okay. And did you ask maybe Chael to fight someone else to save the card, since he was willing to fight on 8 days' notice?
No. Who else would I bring in to, you know what I mean? This was a title fight for the light heavyweight title. That's what people paid for. That's what people, wanted to see. The thing that I know is, and like the guy asked me earlier, if I did the Chael Sonnen fight, there would be people that would like it and people that wouldn't. But here's what I do know. Chael Sonnen would have showed up and fought his ass off and tried to win. You know what I mean? Chael Sonnen wants to be a world champion. Those are the kind of guys I like. Those are the kind of people that you, the fans, should like. These are guys that want to be world champions. They'll fight anybody. You fucking call them up. I called Chael right now and said that the fight was tonight. And I got a whole roster full of guys that are like that. You know what I mean? That will fight at the drop of a hat for any opportunity. Those are the guys that I like. Those are the guys that I respect. And those are the guys that built this company and this sport.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you.
Moving next to Adam Martin with The Score.
Hey, Dan, I'm in Toronto, and there's a lot of excitement right now. You're bringing the light heavyweight title fight. Can you just talk about, the decision to make Machida versus Jones 2 in Toronto?
Yeah. Obviously everybody knows we had a great fight fall off that card. By the time the guys were going to be ready, we moved it to Fox. So we've been waiting to add another fight to that card. Well, there you go. It didn't work out for Vegas, and it didn't work out for this weekend, but it worked out beautiful for Toronto.
What kind of fight are you expecting in the rematch between Jones and Machida?
I have no clue, man. I have no clue. That John Jones just turned down a fight with I don't know what to expect. I expect Machida to come out like somebody possessed. He's made it very clear to me and through his management to me how much this belt means to him, how bad he wants it back, and he feels like he did a lot of shit wrong in the first fight. When obviously he did in the Jones fight, and he wants to correct that. So we'll see what happens. And I don't know what to expect from John Jones anymore.
And Dana, how do you think the other fighters that were supposed to be on the card are going to react to this news that they're not going to be fighting anymore? I mean, guys that are new to the UFC, only making 6 and 6, they're not going to be getting their paid now. So I mean, do you think it will be a bad reaction?
I said a minute ago. I mean, this is one of those selfish, disgusting, decisions that doesn't just affect you. You just affected, 16 other people's lives, families, kids are going back to school. The list goes on and on of all the things, the money that was spent for these fighters to train and everything else. Again, like I said, I don't think that this is a decision that's going to make John Jones popular with the fans, sponsors, cable distributors, television network executives, or other fighters.
Dana, do you think that something has changed in John Jones? I mean, this is a guy that used to step up, and he took the fight against Mauricio Shogun, who on very short notice, and now he's turning down fights. I mean, did something change?
Yep. Apparently.
And just one last thing. Greg Jackson was just on Mauro Ranallo's radio show, and he's saying that he's very confused by your comments. Do you have any follow-up?
I'm very confused by his whole fucking business plan. I don't give a shit what Greg Jackson thinks. Guy's a fucking weirdo, man. Are you kidding me? Turning down a fight, saying if he turns down a fight with Chael Sonnen, it'd be the biggest mistake. I mean, if he takes the fight with Chael Sonnen, it'd be the biggest mistake of his entire career because he's not ready for that guy. Greg Jackson should never be interviewed by anybody ever again except for a psychiatrist.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
And our last question will come from James Bryden with Sportsnet Canada.
Hi, Dana. Most of my questions have been answered already, but I'll just ask you this. I don't believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, if the Toronto show has sold out at this point. I'm guessing it may by the end of the day.
Toronto?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be fantastic.
That
would really cheer up my day.
Yeah. So obviously now it's got 2 title fights. It's obviously an even bigger card. People are excited about it. Is there any way for adding extra seats, or obviously you can't switch it over to the Rogers Center or anything like that, but maybe opening up something over there to watch, people can watch it on screen or something like that?
Yeah. That would be a great problem. I believe me. If that problem pops up, I'll be thrilled to fix it. Those are the kind of problems I like, not these problems.
Right. Okay, well, thanks.
Thank you.
And, gentlemen, do you have any closing remarks for today's call?
That's it. We're done. Thank you guys for calling in. We appreciate it. See you in Toronto.
And, everyone, that concludes today's conference. Thank you all for joining us.